That's okay? So speak up. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Welcome to our production of Big Pumpkin. We have worked hard. I don't know what's going to happen, but they'll be cute anyway. All right. This is Big Pumpkin by Erica Silverman. Once there was a witch who wanted to make pumpkin pie. So she planted a pumpkin seed. She weeded and watered, and after a while, a sprout poked through. And it grew, and it grew, and it grew some more. And it grew, and it grew some more. And soon, Halloween was just hours away. So the witch thought about pumpkin pie, and she bent down to take her pumpkin off the vine. She pulled and she tugged and she pulled. First she pulled hard, and then she pulled harder, but the pumpkin just sat. And the witch said, "Jack." Just then, along came some ghosts. And the ghost said,
"Big pumpkin, big pumpkin."
And the witch said,
"It's bears, Mama, stuck on the vine."
and Halloween was just hours away, so she kicked that pumpkin. Well, the ghosts boasted,
I'm bigger than you and stronger too. Let me try.
Well, the witch said, but she thought about pumpkin pie, so she stepped aside. And the ghost bent down to take the pumpkin off the vine. Well, they pulled and they tugged and they pulled. First they pulled hard and then they pulled harder, but the pumpkin just sat. And the ghost said, just then, along came some vampires. And the vampires said,
Big pumpkin, big pumpkin.
wow, vampires. And the witch said,
It's bears, Mama, it's stuck on the vine.
and Halloween was just hours away, so she kicked her pumpkin. Well, the vampires said, I'm bigger. Say it loud.
I'm bigger than you and I'm stronger than you.
Let me try.
Let me try.
Well, the witch said, and the ghost said, huh. But they thought about pumpkin pie, so they stepped aside. And the vampires bent down to take the pumpkin off the vine. They pulled and they tugged and they pulled. First they pulled hard and then they pulled harder, but the pumpkin just sat. And the vampires said, just then, along came some mummies. And the mummies said,
Big pumpkin, big pumpkin.
and the witch said,
It's bears, Mama, it's stuck on the vine.
and Halloween was just hours away, so she kicked her pumpkin. Well, the mummies boasted,
I'm bigger than you and stronger too. Let me try.
well, the witch said, and the ghost said, and the vampire said, but they all thought about pumpkin pie, so they stepped aside. And the mummies bent down to take the pumpkin off the vine. They pulled and they tugged and they pulled. First they pulled hard and then they pulled harder, but the pumpkin just sat. And the mummies said, just then, along came two little bats. And the bats said,
Big pumpkin.
well, the witch didn't say a word. She just looked at the ghosts, and the ghosts looked at the vampires looked at the mummies looked at the bat, and they all started to laugh.
may not be strong, but I have an idea.
And the bat told them what to do. The witch said, and the ghost said, and the vampire said, and the mummies said, but they all thought about pumpkin pie and turned to take the pumpkin off the vine. The bats pulled the mummies pulled the vampires pulled the ghosts pulled the witch, and they pulled the pumpkin. They pulled and they tugged and they pulled. First they pulled hard, and then they pulled harder, and the pumpkin said, snap! Off it bounced, thump, bump, and it rolled all the way down to the witch's house. She ran inside to make pumpkin pie, and everyone shouted, well, the witch made her pumpkin pie, and the ghost said,
Yum.
and the witch said,
Have another bite.
and the vampire said,
I didn't have another bite.
and the mummies said,
Fun party.
and the bats said,
Time to go.
and as the witch watched them all leave, she said, and she went right out and planted another pumpkin seed. The end.